You see, all flagship smartphones cost a hefty amount of money nowadays. Some more, some less. But which flagship smartphone is actually the cheapest to own? In this video, I'm going to show you how much owning a popular flagship phone would have cost you over the last 2 to 3 years. And the answer will probably surprise you. The basic concept here is that the true cost of a phone isn't its price tag. It's how much value it loses while you own it. Because most people tend to upgrade every 2 or 3 years, and then of course you need to sell or trade in your old one. So for example, when phone A costs $1,000 new and after 2 years you still get $400, it actually costs you $600. Whereas phone B, which costs $900 for example, but after 2 years is only worth $200, is actually the more expensive phone to own. In that way, let's now look at a few popular flagship phones that came out around 3 years ago and see how much it would have cost you to buy them new and own them until now. We start with the original purchase price, brand new for each of them. Pretty straightforward, right? We see that the S22 Ultra was the most expensive, with the iPhone 13 Pro Max as a close second. But then let's see how much money you'd still get if you were to trade them in today. For the trade-in values, I used the data of sellsell.com, which of course is US based, as are the original purchase prices, but the whole pattern of which brands depreciate more or less is applicable wherever you are. And also for those of you who might be saying, well, but I would get more for my phone when selling privately on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or eBay or wherever. Yep, that might be true. But again, it wouldn't change the outcome a whole lot because in the end, you could just add a few percent to the trade-in values and the actual ranking of which phone is the most expensive or is the cheapest to own would remain the same. Alright, so for our S22 Ultra, we would still get $260, which means that over the 33 months, it cost us a whopping $940, which comes out to a bit over $28 a month. In total, that is a depreciation of 78%. Now, the cheapest standard S22 originally cost $799, and today you could get around $150 for it, which is over 80% depreciation, or nearly $650 of cost over the time of ownership. The Google Pixel 6 Pro lost even more value at nearly 84%. Originally costing $900, today you'd only get a measly $144 for it. So over the 3 years you'd have paid a bit over $20 a month. Now the OnePlus 10 Pro is a similar story, albeit with a bit better value retention, but it also it's 3 months younger. So keeping it for the 34 months or so since it launched would have cost you around $700. Now let's look at the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which originally cost $1,100, but today you'd still get over $400 for it, which puts the cost for the 38 months at $684 or exactly $18 a month. So in essence, while for example being significantly more expensive initially compared to a Google Pixel 6 Pro, over 3 years it is actually cheaper. And it's the same story with the standard 13 Pro, which also only loses a bit over 60% over the 3 years and therefore coming in as the cheapest flagship here. So the iPhones in this case were definitely the cheapest of the bunch. A trend that only continues when looking at phones bought 2 years ago. And there are lots of people who upgrade every 2 years, right? The iPhones are again in a league of their own, with only the Samsung S23 Ultra coming close. And it really is wild, because look at the Pixel 7 Pro here and compare it to the iPhone 14 Pro. The iPhone initially costs $100 more, but keeps its value so much better that over 2 years the Pixel actually costs nearly $200 more. And it's the same story when looking at the 1 year time frame, where it actually was cheaper to own an iPhone 15 Pro Max for 40 months versus a OnePlus 12 for 9 months. Also, this 3-year value retention chart clearly shows that Apple's iPhones just hold their value better, period. And this should be your first takeaway from this video. iPhones depreciate just much less than any other flagship smartphone from any brand really. Therefore, among flagships, against popular belief, they are in fact the cheapest to own. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are better phones, but Apple carries a sort of luxury brand image that people are simply willing to pay more for. And the competition, Samsung in particular, has been trying for a long time to recreate that. And obviously they offer phones in similar or even higher price ranges that from a hardware standpoint might also be, better than iPhones. But well, within the first months of the release, the reality of the market kicks in and the value really plummets down. Which brings me to the second takeaway here. You should not buy Android flagship phones brand new at all, even when you don't have any intentions of trading or upgrading after a few years. Instead, even waiting for, only a few months after release might save you a few $100. Like, look at this Pixel 9 Pro here, which only came out free 3 months ago at the launch price of $1,000, and now you can buy it brand new on Amazon for $799, which is already $200 off. And bought at the price of $799, the whole value proposition, also against iPhones, is suddenly a totally different one. The link to the deal is in the description below, among a few other current Black Friday deals for the phones I mentioned in this video. And if you are wondering why you should, spend your hard-earned cash on a flagship phone in the first place, maybe this is a video that might interest you. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you found it somewhat helpful and, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.